As a group, we asked the question, how can we holistically integrate ELL secondary students within mainstream Canadian classrooms? In this video, we will address several of the problems which face both ELL students and the teachers of their mainstream classes. We discuss how mainstream teachers can foster productive, inclusive group work, how they can ensure that students are adequately supported both intellectually and emotionally, and how they can provide fair yet equitable assessment for ELL students. By researching extensively, we arrived at solutions to these challenges and have demonstrated both the problems and our solutions through short skits. By addressing these potential challenges, we hope to provide tools and techniques which will enable teachers to properly support all students within their classrooms. All right, class, today we're going to be starting a digital group project. You're going to work in groups of two to research an environmental issue and create a short digital presentation using either Google Docs, Padlet, or Canva. Okay, group one, what's your plan?
Easy. I'll open a Google Doc and I'll write the whole script. I'll even design the Canva slides already because I have those prepared too.
Great, and what about you, Jacob?
I'm not sure. The tools are a little confusing.
It's fine. I'll do most of it. You can translate some things at the end.
Okay.
This might look like efficient group work, but it's actually a textbook example of non-inclusive digital collaboration. ELL students often experience a fear of losing face, confusion around digital vocabulary like timeline, export, and render, but are also constantly sidelined because peers think they will slow things down. No chance is given to them to participate in meaningful negotiation, which is essential in any kind of group work. And mobile tools can increase motivation and interest, but without the proper scaffolding, they just create another layer of exclusion. Remember, digital tools don't automatically create collaboration. Intentional instructions do. The teacher assigned a group project task, but not the support structures ELL students needed. They would often need role distribution, visible thinking frameworks, shared spaces with low language pressure, and especially a form of modeling of how to negotiate meaning as a group. Without these, group projects collapse into the old knowledge transmission model, where two students do the work and the ELL student silently watches.
Perfect, class. Before we jump into the project, we're going to explore some digital tools together. Let's learn how to use color coding on Google Docs for visible thinking, post ideas on Padlet without having to speak first, and make short practice videos with CapCut. And we can also ask AI for early feedback using clear prompts.
20 minutes later.
All right, now that we've practiced the tools, what strategies can we use to work together?
We can color code our Google Docs. We can use yellow for the summary, blue for commentary, green for evidence, and like you showed us. Oh, we can use Padlet to brainstorm first, so no one feels left out on the spot.
And you, Jacob?
I can edit video in CapCut and add subtitles. I can use AI to check my sentences before posting.
Yeah, and we can negotiate ideas on the doc instead of one person doing everything. Now this is inclusive digital learning. Why? Because the teacher produced disciplinary digital literacy. They showed how to use the tools, gave models of collaboration, lowered language pressure, and shifted the class from knowledge transmission to knowledge construction. This also supports a self-directed learning readiness, or SDLR, especially for ELL students. They learn goal setting, technical proficiency, emotional regulation during group work, and confidence using digital tools. Small groups of 2 to 3 can reduce anxiety and make meaningful negotiations possible. Padlet and color-coded docs can make things visible. Mobile tools allow for multi-modal expressions, not just English writing. And suddenly, the ELL student contributes real value.
All right, everyone, we're going to get into our groups to start planning the presentation.
So I think we'll brainstorm first and then we can divide the slides afterwards.
Brainstorm?
It's fine. I can do all of it if you want.
For many English language learners, especially newcomers to Canada, this moment is painfully familiar. close enough to hear the learning, but not close enough to belong. When classrooms rely on fast-paced talk or unconstructed group work, EL students can become invisible. Research by Hugh Van Nyo shows that ELL success isn't just about language, it's shaped by emotional support, relationships, pre-migration experiences, and the ability to identify with peers. When students feel isolated, their academic and social growth suffer.
Before you begin your presentation, here are your group roles. We got sentence starters and vocabulary cards as well. Today's keywords are brainstorm, topic, impact, and slide. So Jacob, you're our idea collector today. You can ask, can you repeat that? And what is our topic? And then here's your role as well, Marcus.
Our topic is climate change. Jacob, can you write down our ideas?
Yeah. What is impact?
It means the effect.
This is what Byington and Gallagher call coherent support, when teachers collaborate and intentionally design structures that help ELLs participate meaningfully. Neil's research shows that belonging, emotional safety, and supportive relationships are key to ELL success. Byington and Gallagher remind us that integration isn't a team effort. It requires collaboration, planning, and commitment. When we remove barriers and create structured opportunities for participation, ELL students don't just adapt to Canadian classrooms, they belong in them. And belonging is the foundation of holistic integration.
Hi class, today we're going to be looking at a poem called The Oxen by Thomas Hardy. I've given each of you a handout with the poem on it. And before I explain it to you, I was wondering, what are some of the techniques that you notice Hardy using in the poem? Yes, Marcus?
I like the simple rhyming scheme. It makes it easy to read for the average student.
And you, Jacob?
I don't know. I like the middle of it.
There's clearly a problem here, but the nature of the problem may not be as easily noticed as its presence. It seems like a simple question. What are some of the techniques in the poem? Many of us have grown up surrounded by English music, literature, and poetry. It's natural, then, that we have picked up some of the terminology which surrounds this aspect of our daily lives. For ELL students, however, the expectation that they'll understand this specialized terminology is analogous to expecting them to know the names of each tool in a construction worker's truck. It's simply absurd. Disciplinary literacy refers to literacy skills specialized to history, science, mathematics, literature, or other subject matter. As Yingling Liu explains, all students require additional support in acquiring disciplinary literacy. ELL students, however, face a disproportionately difficult task in this regard. Because of this, she suggests that teachers must shift their mindsets from perceiving themselves as disciplinary content transmitters to disciplinary literacy teachers, who model and engage students in reading, writing, inquiring, and doing like experts within the disciplines. Hi class, today we're going to be looking at a poem called The Oxen by Thomas Hardy. Before we look at the poem itself, let's look at some of the poetic tools used by Wolf's Light.
20 minutes later.
Now that we've looked at a few poetic tools, do you notice any in Hardy's poem? Marcus?
I noticed that he uses alliteration to connect words and ideas together.
Perfect. And you, Jacob?
I like that he keeps a consistent pattern for the most of his rhyming scheme.
As we see, not only does teaching disciplinary literacy benefit ELL students, it improves the depth of understanding of every student. Although it may take some extra time to begin with, this is an essential step to ensuring that every student understands what they're doing and is equipped to produce their best work. Good job. Ooh. See me.
Hey, what do you get?
I bombed.
What? How? I got 100% and we basically wrote the same exact things.
Yeah, but I couldn't come up with a lot of the right words, and I lost marks for grammar too.
That's not fair. You did worse than me just because you don't know proficient English yet.
As we can see, there are some serious difficulties which come with assessing ELL students' work in mainstream classrooms. A study conducted by Chang and Milnes found that teachers' assessment strategies are widely varied and drastically inconsistent. They sought to compare how high school teachers assess the written work of ESL versus non-ESL students in mainstream classes. The resultant findings were that teachers generally held very positive views towards the ESL students themselves. Work ethic and other such things were commended by teachers, but the work which students produced was often below standards. This created a dilemma for the teachers as to whether they should grade based on effort or on results. A majority of teachers in the study adjusted their expectations of style in regard to ESL students' work. This allowed the students to maintain similar marks to their classmates, even though they were less technically skilled in the application of their language. The content of their work was assessed at the same level, but their communication of this content, spelling, grammar, etc., was marked less severely. This adjusted style of assessment helps ELL students to flourish by continuing to push them to produce their best work, but also grading them equitably, reducing the unnecessary pressure of harsh grades which may otherwise lead students to either cheat or give up.
Good job.
Oh, thanks.
Great work.
So, what do you get this time?
I did well.
Oh, good job. I saw Mr. Bourne gave you a lot of feedback.
Yeah, because I still learn English. I still come up with the right words for some things, and still don't understand grammar. Because Teacher Bowen knows I still learn. He also give me lots of technical feedback, and make me use my ideas instead of my technical skills.
That's awesome. It's probably because he understands you're naturally farther behind the rest of the students, so he's grading you on your technical writing abilities, and he's focusing on your grading on the content rather than what you know from your technical abilities. In conclusion, the goal of this inquiry has been to identify how to holistically integrate ELL secondary students into the mainstream Canadian classroom by moving beyond simple language instructions towards a model of true belonging. Our research and video demonstrated that inclusion isn't extra, it's acceptance. It requires a shift from a knowledge transmission model to one of a knowledge construction, where every student is an active participant. To achieve this, teachers must provide intentional instruction and structured support, such as disciplinary literacy, equipping students with the mental tools and specialized terminology for each subject so they can do the work like experts. Inclusive digital collaboration, using visible thinking frameworks like color coding and platforms like Padlet to lower language pressure and ensure students are not sidelined during group projects. Equitable assessment, focusing on the content of a student's thinking and ideas rather than penalizing them for the technical English proficiency, such as grammar or spelling. Ultimately, successful integration is a team effort that relies on emotional safety, supportive relationships, and the removal of barriers that cause alienation. By implementing these practical strategies, we ensure that ELL students do not just adapt to the classroom, but truly belong within it, feel seen, valued, and capable of academic success.